we're having this meeting because there's been a lot of talk on social media about things that are happening with Minelab, and there's been a lot of scare stories, people saying that Minelab are leaving Europe. So what's the situation? What's going on with Minelab?
Great question, Gordon. So we're actually doubling down in Europe. We've established a sales office that's going to be in Cork. We have consolidated our inventory shipping. As you're aware, some people may be aware, we had 4 warehouses around the world filling product to different parts of the world, and we really don't need 4 warehouses to do that. So we consolidated the one in Cork. We're delivering that product from either the US or Dubai into Europe and Russia, and really consolidated into a sales office based in Cork. So we've got our business development right in Cork, and then we're driving authorized service centers around the continent. So we now have 5 different service centers in Europe and 4 in Russia. So 9 service centers across Europe and Russia.
You're not leaving Europe. I mean, there's been a lot of talk, and there was recently a trade show in, I believe, Nuremberg, where Minelab didn't turn up, and of course it went all over the internet that Minelab are giving up, leaving Europe. Why did that happen?
So I mean, it happens often that manufacturers will cancel an engagement at a trade show. But we've done it before. We've done it in the US, we've done it in Australia. Our competitors have done it as well. There are times when you just don't have the right staffing or the right timing for some of these big trade shows. And with the consolidation in Europe, we had some distractions, and we simply didn't have the staff to fill that trade show. It's a big trade show. It's better probably not to be there than to be there in a way that's not 100% full quality. So we actually canceled the trade show, which we've done other trade shows before. Simply because we couldn't staff it properly. So
it's a shame they didn't actually take the piece of paper down.
I mean, we were told that everything was going to be taken down. It wasn't taken down. It's a little bit of a mishap on that part of it, but in general, I think people overreact in general when manufacturers don't show up at trade shows. Honestly, not showing up at the EWA trade show one time does not necessarily underline a strategy for any manufacturer at all. I mean,
okay, because nice that you mentioned strategy, because I'm hearing lots and lots of rumors that Minelab are pulling out of coin and treasure altogether. They're going to just concentrate on gold. Now I realise that your market in Africa is usually controlled by Europe, but is there any truth in that? Are you pulling out of coin and treasure? And concentrating purely on gold?
I sure hope not, because that's 90% of my job is coin and treasure. So when you look at the northern hemisphere, it's purely coin and treasure. There's a little bit of gold, certainly, across some places in North America, some parts of Russia, some parts of Europe, when you look at the German area. But in general, coin and treasure is a big chunk of our business. When you look at the units, the volume that we actually ship from a unit perspective, most of that is actually coin and treasure product. We have no intention to pull out of coin and treasure. We're actually doubling down on the products and technologies we're bringing forth. With the invention and the advent 11 months ago of the Go Find series, that actually has driven into the lower cost market of the coin and treasure. We have no intentions of changing that. What we want to do is actually expand the number of people using a Minelab product.
Now, I'm sure that a lot of people would also, they'll have a go at me if I don't ask this, are there any coin and treasure models coming through? Or is that something you can't tell me?
There always are, but I can't tell you. But certainly there in the shop, in the laboratory, there are things we're working on today that are coin and treasure related, not only gold related.
And a few lightweight machines, hopefully, because again, lots of people complain, that Minelabs are from real men, to lift. But
I would say that's been the history on our premium machines, but the Go Find is the lightest machine in the world. So we do know how to make light machines. Even when you look at the balance we built into the CTX, although there is some weight there, the balance on that CTX is amazing.
I believe it weighs a pound more, it feels lighter.
Exactly.
So it just shows you.
So we always do that from a design perspective. So we are working on some of those things too, Gordon. I think it's important to realize that to reinvent and to continue to drive high technology into the coin and treasure space takes some time and effort, because there's a lot of good detectors out there where you don't have to reinvent anything to produce a good detector, and we want to make sure that we're continuing to push the technology envelope as well, which is what Minelab is used to doing. But rest assured, there's a lot of coin and treasure things coming from Minelab as well.
So you're definitely not pulling out of
Absolutely not.
Of
Europe's
Europe.
Our biggest market in coin and treasure, Gordon, and frankly, North America's big. Europe's big, Russia's big. There's no sense in us to pull out of here, and frankly, that was never our intention. Companies consolidate all the time. It's mostly a cost containment thing, and frankly, we're delivering product from now 3 different warehouses around the world, and that's still more than any of our competitors have from a delivery perspective.
Okay,
so, what I want to make sure people understand is Minelab continues to intend to be a one-stop shop, and we want to make sure we expand the full market from low-end, low-cost, entry-level type machines all the way to the most advanced machines in the world. And certainly there are business decisions we make that happen along the way, and unfortunately, not everybody understands fully when companies make decisions. But the challenge is that you can't always publicly announce everything before you do it. And the good news is we have a great following of fans and people that are watching what Minelab does, which we enjoy. I just want to be sure people understand that we're here to stay. We love Europe, we love our customers, and Minelab wants to be a full-stop shop for everybody. And at the end of the day, Gordon,
well, you've flown over
exactly,
for this meeting
exactly.
because you were so concerned about what was being said on social media.
Exactly.
So.
And I think what's important is that we continue to talk about it and continue to ask questions. And I want people to, if they're not clear about something or they don't understand what Minelab is doing, they should ask the question, because at the end of the day, it's our responsibility to answer it and make sure our customers feel good and comfortable. And frankly, we've got massively good technicians and service centers that are today driving better service than we've ever provided in the past locally for customers, and that's our intention going forward.
Well, you've got a lot of passionate users out there, and they put their heads down when this sort of thing happens because they don't know what's going on. So this is good that you've actually come over here and you're sort of clearing the air.
And Gordon, we intend to be more present, not less present. So one of the things I like about a field sales office, which is really what we have now in Cork, and we're out doing a grand opening on that in the next couple weeks here, is that I'll have more people in the field and more presence. So when we have rallies, when we have events, when we have customers asking for things, we should have people in the field more often. Okay. Because I want them in the field working with our customers, because that's the intention with a field office. Okay.
One last thing, servicing your product. I mean, again, it's been all over social media. You know, we're not going to be able to get them fixed anymore. Why should we buy Minelab? Because if there's nobody to fix them, it's too much of a risk. But I know that is complete rubbish.
Completely incorrect. We do have a global customer care model, and I'm hiring a global customer care manager today to actually manage all of the authorized service centers we have across the world. We right now have 9 across Europe and Russia, if you add them all together. My intention is to actually have more service centers that are authorized and can repair Minelab product across Europe especially than we've ever had before, because part of the challenge, even historically, part of the challenge, if you always had to send your product to Ireland, it could be weeks sometimes if you're sitting in another country to get your machine back. That weeks of time or months of time is just too long, and we need to have local service and local quality service, and that's our intention. So we do have a model. We're running it in the U.S., running it in Europe today, where we have local authorized centers. And frankly, in Europe, you've got to do more of that rather than less of that because of the country structure. It's difficult for customers to send product across countries, and we understand that, and we're trying to make sure that we have that model in place. We have a decent model today, but it's going to get better and better. Our intention is to drive more and more service centers, Gordon, not fewer.
I think if you build in a bit of flexibility, because I mean, when we were dealing with Ireland, obviously we had a lot of flexibility. They could literally sometimes waive charges or reduce charges, as long as that's built into it. I can see it working really well.
Especially warranty. If it's warranty work, it's always included in the cost anyway. And then if we can start to eliminate and decrease the shipping charges and costs, which is what we're trying to do, that's going to help us show a lot more flexibility.
Yeah, well, that will save the people that send their detectors to Ireland.
Exactly.
Because that can cost a lot of money.
Exactly. Yeah. And so we are continuing to drive that. And I would say that we've got some great service centers today that are massively flexible. And like you said, they're passionate Minelab fans anyway, and they want to do the right thing for the customer. And those are the people we're trying to bring on board.